Every time I want to take on a new industry or a new niche, the first thing that pops up in my head is like, oh my God, is this going to work? And if there's a sliver of a chance of it not working, I've got full on fear, full on freeze, just get the hell out. The bear is going to eat me type feeling, as bad as my camera is acting right now type thing, right? So how do you make sure, or what's your process on making sure that your ads get results almost without regard to the industry or niche?
Yeah. And I think I spent, and we talked about all of the holidays, literally from like Black Friday to New Year's, just coaching on or fixing everybody's ads. Literally, I had so many coaching calls just fixing ads. And I even have one, I have one later today and then another one tomorrow. But I'm a data-driven person, right? So yes, I've been in marketing for over 15 years. I know what a good ad looks like. I know what a good targeting looks like and so on. But you have to understand that the Facebook ads platform, especially after I've been in it for so many years, changes every other day.
Yep.
So, I may have recorded a Facebook ads module 6 months ago, but guess what? There's updates now, which is hence why we have these Facebook groups, right? So we can constantly update. But the point is you have to change with the time. So knowing that things are always going to change, throwing up the same ad or throwing up the same copy that you've seen in everybody's groups and posts and everything is not going to work.
Yep.
Just because it worked for that guy in Utah doesn't mean it's going to work for you in New York, and so on and so on. So because of that, I am a huge split tester, and most of you guys who have followed my stuff know that, and it's because I want the data to tell me the results. And so obviously I have a split test method, which I've actually recorded it. I had someone who had never even logged in a Business Manager before, knew nothing about Facebook ads. Literally, they watched the videos, they followed the process. It took them, even with the follow-up automation sequence, 3 hours to do the first time. It took them an hour and a half the second time, because then they felt more comfortable. And I gave them a brand new spa location that I was like, oh man, if he screws this one up, like there goes my name. But I was like, you know what? I trust my process. And he did it, and he literally got them. We had promised, I think, like 20 leads that month, and he had gotten them 68 leads using the process. And it's throwing up a split test a certain way, because I know I tell people do it this way and they still do it another way, which is always the case. So it's really now we can do it much easier. We don't have to split test gender anymore, age really, because the data will break it down for you later on. But you still have to split test creative and copy, and that's what's important. And all those people who tell you, oh, video ads are converting the highest, really, when was the last time you tested that? Because I'm still to this day always split testing. In November, we had your mastermind, and some people had told me, oh, have you tried Creative Dynamic? And have you tried this type of conversion ad and this type of audience? I'm like, I did a while ago, but I'm more than happy to test it again. So I spent the holidays retesting that. I'm like, nope, back to what I thought was working. But the point is I tested it. So I knew we still weren't there yet. So you have to split test. The creative, I do a certain way. I always do one static image. Let's say it's like me smiling, and then a second static image that is completely opposite of the first static image. That's key, guys, because what I've seen is when I tell people to throw 2 static images up, they literally throw a girl going like this and then a girl going like that. And I'm like, what's the difference between the 2 photos? So they need to be polar opposites. So like one can be of T smiling and the other can be a meme, or memes actually convert really high, by the way, guys, in ads, as long as it's not covered in text everywhere. But polar opposite static images, a carousel ad, and a video ad. And if you don't have video, it's fine. All you got to do is go on, I use Adobe Spark Post or any kind of slideshow app. You make a quick slideshow of photos. I usually get stock videos of just like old people. We're talking about dental right now.
Just old people smiling randomly.
Well, because it's implants. So like the majority of people, I mean, there's young people missing teeth, but like the majority are older than 40. So I just get a bunch of people smiling, swinging on swings, and then say, we love your smile, we care about you, blah, blah, blah. And then that's your video. It doesn't have to be like a full of drawn out production. And actually the first strategy I do when I get a new client, I'll take that video, I post it on their page, I'll pin it to the top, and now I run about $100 to $200 just to that video. And the purpose the purpose of that is now I create a custom audience of 90% view of that video. And that audience is what I use to create lookalike audiences, to drive traffic to. So this is all part of the retargeting strategy that you should be doing in a regular campaign as well, not just throwing up one ad and hoping it works.
Yeah.
You need to start growing your audience, engaged audience, people who engage with the page in the last 90 days.
Yeah.
If you can't get the pixel access, then you got to make your own, you have to make your own data. So using all that data, using the split test of the video carousel to static, within 5 days, you know who's winning and you just turn off the rest. And then you can kind of duplicate the process and really put the money to what's working and what's winning. Yeah, so that's pretty much the method. I mean, it's really data driven, and you just have to test. Stop copying and pasting people's images. Stop copying and pasting their copy. Like, think outside the box. Use your creativity. I do what's called competitor research. Whenever I take on a new industry or client for the first time, I spend a good 2 to 3 hours doing what I call, I know you do customer research, I do competitor research. So I pull up 5 local competitors, which I ask my client, who are your local competitors? And then I pull up 5 big names like Amazon, or like, for example, the business loan company, LendingTree, Amazon Business Lending, whatever. And I see what everybody's doing. That's not to say they're all doing it right. That's why we're not going to copy them. But I see what everybody's doing. See the common words that are being used. You read the reviews. You see that native language being used in the reviews. And that's how I build my copy. If you look at my notepad on my computer, it's literally just sentences I've grabbed from websites, ads, things, and I've like meshed them together. And then that's how I create my copy, just like putting what appealed to me as the possible consumer together. And that's my point. Be inspired, don't copy.
So your Steph's secret ad making process, right? Everything's like a process, right? Or a series of steps, right? So are you like concerned about CBO, by the way? Like all the stuff, you're just gonna like, it doesn't change your process at all, right?
No, I spend a good amount of money in the split testing phase, which I tell all my clients up front about the split testing phase. It's a conversation we have to have, and I say, I'm gonna spend a good chunk of your first month's budget on this. That's why I negotiate a monthly budget, guys. Don't negotiate daily budgets unless you want your client on top of you every single day. Negotiate a monthly budget. Take a good chunk of that. I want to say like $200, $300 if you got a good budget. Split test the 5 days, and then narrow down your money. Divide whatever's left in the remaining days of the month, and then you're fine. You'll still be within your budget. So,
so you literally set up one campaign, right? One ad set. But inside of that ad set, you got 4 different types of ads. You got 2 strikingly different videos or images. You got a video and then a carousel, right? And you say, Facebook, take the wheel, you figure it out. You show it to everybody within like your serviceable zone of like 10, 20 miles or something like that. And then you're just looking at the numbers to see which one converts best, which one has the most clicks and all this stuff. And then that becomes your real campaign on week 2. Is that correct?
Correct. And the other key is you can split test multiple campaigns. So if somebody's convincing me that conversion is working that week, which guys, if you follow me or you're in my Facebook group, you know I'm hardcore lead generation ads right now, or traffic, depending on what your goal is. I'll also split test radius sometimes versus zip codes, because I'm a huge zip code fan. I always have been, especially when I work with franchises. Some audiences overlap, so you can't do radius. You have to, every one of my locations has assigned zip codes. So that's really, and they just convert, but they get a better quality of lead, right? So and then at the end of the 5 days, you look at the numbers, you see, and it's not always the cheapest one. It's not always the one with the most clicks. You have to follow the trail of, okay, how many click-throughs, how many leads. I actually look to see how many of those actually booked appointments. So I'll look at my tracking thing and I'll see who actually came in or booked appointments within those 5 days. Maybe it's a different ad that I didn't think was going to be, maybe it's a little more expensive, but that one actually got them to come in. I think when we first started, I even had $2 booked appointments for dental implants, which was insane. So you have to track a lot in the very beginning, but you could train a VA to do that kind of stuff if you don't want to do it, or do it yourself if you don't have that many clients. It's really not hard, but it's worth the investment of time at the very beginning I think I told this to somebody in your elite group the other day, like just invest the time learning it yourself, seeing the data yourself, and then let it run. Then you practically never have to look at it again, barely. But yeah, it works.
So,
It works. We've done it with for the niche of like the smallest niches of niches with my students, and it works every time because it's data driven.
yep. And you don't have to make the hippo argument, the highest paid person's opinion discussion about like what ads are working or not, or blah, blah, blah. You can be like, hey, we tried all four. And, you know, like your video that you paid $5,000 for is the worst one, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And so you're doing this regardless of your industry or your niche. This is how you know if your Facebook ads are going to get results, because you're spending your dollars, you're figuring out which one's the best one, and then you go with that one. And then you've got some cool Zap Google Sheet thing where it says like the campaign ID, and then it has like the number of booked appointments or something like that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You match, right. Cool. So you could set up a Zap to just label which ad it actually came from, which now it shoots in a Go High level for me. So, and it attaches to the actual lead name and everything. So it's really easy to track.
Absolutely perfect. That's so cool.